Hello and welcome to Son of Kaiju Review. I'm Protomet.
I'm Tank.
And today we will be taking a look at the movie based on Ray Bradbury's The Foghorn, originally titled The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
The Foghorn?
Yep.
Okay.
He actually changed the name of the story from Beast from 20,000 Fathoms to The Foghorn after the guys making the movie bought the rights. But he is credited in the opening credit scene. So
Okay.
and this is not even the only movie based on this work. There's even an episode of Pokemon based on it.
Pokemon.
But yes, it was blah, blah, blah. Released in 1953.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yes. And distributed by Warner Brothers. And it is a classic kaiju movie. To the point where its Japanese release may have been the reason why the term kaiju became so popular.
Godzilla ripped it off. Not really, but...
It more ripped off the Foghorn, but... but they are different enough, so...
yeah.
Nobody can claim that Godzilla is a true rip-off of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
And plus, Godzilla is much bigger than this kaiju, and it has atomic breath.
Yeah, but science.
Science! Tist!
But anyway, we start in the Arctic Circle, where a group of scientists are conducting nuclear bomb tests with the military.
So they're in the snow.
Yes.
And it's cold. They are all bundled up.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're testing out these, nukes, and they end up opening up a hole.
A fissure in the ice.
Yes. And then it kind of releases a creature. And
yes.
A guy sees it and falls into
a crevasse.
Crevasse.
He fires his gun to attract the attention of a...
Dr. Sarazawa.
No, it's...
Or Professor...
Tom Nesbitt. Tom Nesbitt.
Nesbitt. He's a professor of some sort, or is he a scientist? I can't remember what his role is.
He's a scientist, but he's also the hero of the movie as a scientist.
He-Man.
That's oddly inappropriate. But no, has nothing to do with this movie. But anyway, Tom goes to investigate once he hears the gunshot. Mm-hmm. He sees the creature, and the other guy dies. There's like an avalanche or something.
Yeah, and he walks a few feet and just face plants and pretty much passes out. Well, he fires his gun to let the others know his location.
They may come and manage to save him, but the guy he went to go look for died.
Yep, by the avalanche.
But before they can really even do anything, they need to get Tom to America because he is in a bad way.
Oh yeah, he's in like a very bad way. I'm not sure if he has any broken bones, but he's definitely
got some hypothermia going on. It doesn't help that he's kind of rambling about having encountered a monster and going to save his buddy, and
nobody really believing him.
Yeah, once he actually does regain consciousness in America, he does tell the doctors and his superior officer about what he saw, and they are pretty quick to dismiss it as just a hallucination from a traumatic experience.
Yeah, he heard its roar or something beforehand, and they said at your state
it could have been anything.
It could have been the wind. Well, I have never heard the wind like that before.
But suffices to say that nobody really believes that he saw a creature, and even he kind of starts to wonder, maybe I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a pretty traumatic experience. That is until he learns about a boat being destroyed out at sea,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the survivors claiming that it was attacked by some sort of sea serpent.
But it wasn't Glenn Manning.
And then a second one. So he goes to go talk to a paleontologist named Thurgood Ellison and his assistant Lee Hunter.
Lee.
And Ellison is pretty dismissive of the claim because he's a paleontologist. He deals in dead things. These kind of things have been dead for a while.
Mm.
But Lee, having actually been to some of Tom's lectures back when he was a college professor, is a bit more open-minded. And she actually ends up bringing like a bunch of sketches of dinosaurs for Tom to look at.
Yep. And he ends up, after multiple looks at all these, like, I'm getting that, like, drawings of...
He does end up recognizing something, but he's not quite right. But
yeah.
Upon checking out a couple more sketches of related creatures, they do manage to find the identity of this mystery creature, the Rhedosaurus.
The Rhedosaurus Rexsaurus.
Just Rhedosaurus.
Ratatouille-saurus.
But Tom realizes that just because he's been able to identify the creature from a sketch doesn't necessarily mean that
and anyone else would believe him. Yeah.
Nor does it even really confirm that this beast and the ones attacking the ships are the same.
Yeah.
So he first tries to call up a captain from one of the destroyed ships, and he is pretty.
He's French. He's French Canadian, and he doesn't want to take the call. He doesn't want to talk about it because when he tries to talk to it, people just start making fun of him because he's a drunkard.
He doesn't want to be considered one, but people are thinking it. Mm-hmm. So he ends up hanging up on Tom, who then has to go find another survivor who himself claims that, no, I didn't see anything. Yeah. I didn't see anything. Nothing happened. I was just hallucinating. But Tom's like, no, I think I saw it too. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I want you to come in, take a look at some sketches, and see if you can identify with the creature you saw among the sketches. And they do. He does. Turns out it's the same Rhedosaurus that Tom had encountered. And this gives Ellison some reason to consider potentially going to look for the creature.
Yeah.
I think at one point around this point, the Rhedosaurus actually attacks a lighthouse, which is the part of the movie that's based on the foghorn.
Foghorn. I'm still confused on it.
That's because the creature was lured to the lighthouse because the foghorn sounded like its own roar.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's called that.
Pretty much breaks it. You know, people die, etc., etc. Then they cried.
But with Lee helping to convince Elson to maybe get this looked into, Elson and Tom call up Tom's superior officer
Jack.
from... Is it Jack?
That could be.
It is Jack.
Yeah, I remembered something.
You're contributing.
Well, and again, I just got done listening to our previous podcast on King Kong.
Oh, no.
So Jack's been stuck in my head.
Your contribution has been revoked.
Oh. Butthead.
But anyway, Jack is himself unwilling to, mobilize so many forces to try and look for some creature, but he does, at the very least, get in touch with a buddy of his to get some information on potentially other sightings of this sea serpent. Mm-hmm. And with the information starting to pile up and say that, yes, there does appear to be some sort of creature out there, they decide to go looking for it. in a diving bell.
Yes. The Paleontologist. Is this the second movie that we've ever done that considers another paleontologist instead of Jurassic Park?
Pretty sure Dr. Yamane from Godzilla was a paleontologist. So, yes, we've only done one other before. Even though Dr. Yamane was in 2 movies.
Paleontology.
I'm pretty sure we've encountered paleontological characters before.
All right.
We've watched a bunch of movies. So.
A lot. But the Jurassic Dead, I don't know.
That one's wacky.
All right. Enough of the little remnants. Back to the movie.
But anyway, Elson and the guy he goes down into a diving bell with, they do end up finding the Rhedosaurus, and Elson kind of becomes overcome with his scientific curiosity and fascination, and doesn't really do anything to prevent himself from being eaten by the creature.
Yeah, it's pretty. He was more in awe than anything of actually seeing it, and kind of describing how it actually looks to Lee, and the radio gets cut off.
He makes no effort to get himself pulled up because I guess he's just so in awe of this scientific discovery.
Yeah, as this thing is just approaching him. We don't. Okay, by the way, we do not see him actually get eaten, but it's pretty much.
Nor do we even see them bringing the destroyed diving bell back up, or even a broken chain. Mm-hmm. It cuts out before that, and we just get a news report that states
he has died by giant serpent.
Yes. By this point, the military is realizing, yes, there is a creature out there. We need to deal with it. And it decides to come ashore.
It sure does. And kind of causes people to run. And there is a funny scene where there is a single police officer just shooting his pistol at it. I mean, it kind of goes back a little bit and just kind of turns around and no, wait, that's with a bunch of them where he kind of just wiggles his tail at him.
Yeah. No, the sole police officer, he just reaches down and eats the guy. Grabs him in his mouth and pulls him up. In a nice composite shot between the stop motion used for the Rhedosaurus and the live action bits. So that was a well done shot.
I like
it was convincing.
Like that. Oh yeah, then.
We see the general panic that's being caused, which is, the kind of panic you tend to see in these kind of movies.
Yeah, just
or at least parody versions of them.
Yes, they just, people just running around the streets screaming, running for their lives. There is one scene where there is 2 kids playing, and the mother kind of just comes out and just grabs them and brings them back in the house. No, if we just stay away.
They're shots of people drawing their blinds as though that's going to stop the creature.
It's not going to see me. Now, if it just whacks its tail against your building and maybe crumbles on you, but who knows?
But yeah, by the whole end of this rampage, we've got 180 dead, 1,500 injured, and $300 million in damages.
Pardon my French, but fuck.
And that was a lot back then.
Yes.
It was a lot more back then than it is now. And even now, it's still a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the military rolls in, starts firing on the creature, setting up an electric barricade to try and open up its defenses to try and get it. They do manage to injure it and cause it to retreat, but unfortunately, as it turns out, the creature's blood contains a deadly pathogen.
Yep.
I mean, which is incredibly contagious, so blowing the creature up is incredibly ill-advised because that would just spread.
Yeah, they would have a plague, pretty much.
And even attempts to consider frying the creature go up in smoke because so would the pathogen, and it would spread even fast just as much. So then Tom realizes, let's give it a radioactive isotope and kill it from within.
Hmm? As they do, and it pretty much also dies in a fire also, I guess.
Yeah, there's a scene where Tom and another guy, I don't know, some other guy, they're in like fire retardant or suits or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're radiation suits. I don't know. They were probably made of
They look
asbestos.
like old space suits from like old
Not even. Not even. They looked like they were like asbestos suits, which which what we know about asbestos now.
They have cancer now.
Yeah.
So the
they do manage to inject the isotope into the creature, which dies in a fire.
And the movie pretty much ends.
Yeah, the movie just ends with the creature's death. There's no like epilogue bit. It just ends, which is fine.
Yeah. It could have had like a smaller little with the rest of the cast celebrating and
Maybe, but
it's good how it ended. It's just I'm just being a little nitpicky right now.
Yeah, we kind of rushed through the plot of this movie, but this movie is fairly short.
It is very short.
80 minutes, it says on Wikipedia. I don't think it was that long.
No.
I think it was shorter than that.
And, that might be if it was, in the theater at the time, it was probably with other, trailers with it or something. I don't know.
I'm just going by Wikipedia, it says, and knowing that that's not quite right, considering how long the movie was when we actually watched it. Like an hour and 16, I want to say. Which was shorter than the last few movies we've watched.
And they all don't have to be super long.
Right. Just movies lately have just been going for super long. And this movie is fairly short, but incredibly sweet.
Oh, yeah. It's a very good movie.
It's a classic for a reason. Mm-hmm. I mean, sure, we kind of breeze through the plot, but that's because...
But there's not much. It's them just focusing on how to find the creature and how to deal with the creature.
And we get plenty of scenes where the Rhedosaurus is just causing mayhem.
Yes.
And
there's
not really much we can say about that, because that's stuff you really should see.
Yeah, just running around, just picking up cars with its mouth and just...
even just attacking the boats.
Yep.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Classic monster kaiju movie.
Yeah, highly recommend checking this movie out if you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
It is, like I said, this movie's Japanese release is likely what popularized the term kaiju in the pop culture, because apparently the Japanese title had kaiju in the title, and this is information I got out of Kaiju for Hipsters, which I've been reading recently.
Kaiju for Hipsters.
There's even a bit of debate as to whether or not this movie actually debuted in Japan before it hit the US and the UK. No confirmation of its original release date though, so it's a bit up in the air. Not even Godzilla had kaiju in the entirety of its movie.
No.
But this movie has it front and center in the title over there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. It's got some great stop motion effects from Ray Harryhausen.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
It also has Willis Cook, George Lofgren, and Eugene Laurie as all additional special effects crew. Eugene Laurie also being the guy who directed the movie. So, good.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys should give this a watch, because it's... Yeah, some of you might not like it because, it's old.
It's old, but
it's...
The stop motion effects are fantastic.
Yes.
As is expected of Ray Harryhausen movies.
I would have to say good possibility rivals King Kong's stop
Oh,
motion.
hell yeah. I would definitely say that. It came out I want to say 20 years later, roughly. So
it had a wee bit more time to work on it. Yeah, it's just... But I highly recommend giving this at least a watch. And like, we like it because when we watched it, like the very, very first time we watched it, like we didn't know what to expect because the last couple of things we've watched were just schlock.
But this one is a classic,
yes.
Definitely worth checking out. The Rhedosaurus actually very recently made an appearance during the end credit sequence of Godzilla Singular Point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, it's like one of the few non-Toho kaijus that just makes an appearance in the end credit scene, along with like a bunch of other Toho kaiju.
I need to actually give that a watch.
Say, I need to finish watching that. I started watching it and then stopped. So at some point, if I can find the free time, I gotta get around to finishing that because that was pretty good. What I was seeing, kind of a bit smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand that one of the big complaints about the movie is that it's a little too smart for its own good.
Oh.
So like there are a lot of people who just didn't get what was going on.
Yeah.
Because it's got a lot of physics babble.
Mm-hmm. But better than the other like
the
anime.
Netflix trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other video or podcast, whichever one we go with. So yeah,
we'll figure it out in the future.
That was The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I don't know how many times we
can
can say, dude, go seriously watch this. It's a great movie without it becoming redundant. So,
we're just gonna end this here. So, have a good time. Bye.